So you did the smart, boring thing. You bought the smart, boring index fund. You figured you bought the whole basket, so you could forget about it and sleep just fine. Well, I have news. It's now one of the most lopsided bets it's ever been. Nobody changed your fund. It's what happened inside it. A handful of giant AI companies got so big the whole market tips with them, like a seesaw with everyone crowded onto one end. Companies that had nothing to do with AI are now AI. More than a third of the entire index now belongs to just 10 companies, a record high, and most of them have their fingers in the AI pie. So is the boring fund still boring? I'm not bored anymore. I'll tell you why. When someone says they own the whole market, you picture 500 companies sitting there evenly, a proper basket. So picture that basket, 500 eggs, but not all the same size. A few are giant ostrich eggs, the big companies. The rest are tiny quail eggs, everything else. Over the last few years, about 10 of those ostrich eggs swelled up so much they're now more than a third of the basket's whole weight. A record, 10 eggs out of 500. And one of those ostrich eggs, a chip maker called Nvidia, is around 8% of the whole basket on its own. One egg, heavier than entire industries put together. The strange bit? The basket never changed. Nobody added eggs or took any away. The eggs themselves just grew. That's the one boring rule nobody reads. A normal index fund doesn't keep things even. The bigger an egg gets, the more of your basket it becomes. You don't lift a finger. The eggs do it for you. We've watched the market lean on a tiny handful of names before. Last time it leaned this hard, they called it the dot-com bubble. Now the official story is simple. These eggs grew because they're great companies. A lot of that's true. I got curious and looked at how they grew. This weirded me out. The eggs started feeding each other. To be real, I opened my own account, and yeah, 83% of it is in one of these tech-heavy funds. The big ostrich eggs basically are my portfolio. So when I say this made me nervous, I mean personally, because eggs are not supposed to feed each other. So who's actually doing this? Let me walk one lap of the circle. Start with the chip maker, Nvidia. It agrees to put up to $100 billion into the biggest AI startup, OpenAI. So what does OpenAI do with all that money? It buys computing power, built on, you guessed it, Nvidia chips. The money leaves Nvidia and walks straight back home. Then OpenAI signs a deal worth around $300 billion to rent its computers from Oracle, who borrows a small fortune to build the warehouses in the first place. And it's not just OpenAI. Nvidia also promised to buy up to $6 billion of unsold computing power from a cloud company called CoreWeave, whose data centers are already packed with Nvidia chips. Same trick, same circle. One lap of that circle moves tens of billions, and every stop gets booked as somebody's revenue. That swells the eggs, and a bigger egg is a bigger slice of your basket. So how scared should you be? Let me give you a scale. One end is the year 2000. The other end is 2008. 2008 was a debt problem. Banks borrowed a mountain of money, betted on bad home loans, and when those went bad, the whole thing came down. Your bank, your job, all of it. 2000 was a hype problem. Loads of companies with no profit, priced like they'd already won. The mood turned and the prices just vanished. Right now, this rhymes with 2000, not 2008. The big AI companies are real, and most of them actually make money, which the dot-com clowns never did. Although, they make most of that money from other stuff, ads, cloud. The pure AI money is the circular bit we just talked about. Now you might be thinking what I was thinking, but they're real companies, they make real money. This time it's different. And yeah, but this time it's different is the most expensive sentence in investing. The internet was real in 2000. Railways were real in the 1800s. Both real. Both bubbled anyway. Real doesn't mean it can't pop. It just means more people get fooled on the way up. And the further you go from those few giants, the more it looks like 2000 all over again. There's a wave of AI companies about to sell shares to the public for the first time. OpenAI, Anthropic, reportedly worth close to $1 trillion each. OpenAI is still losing money and doesn't expect to turn a profit until around 2030. And the second they go public, a slice of them drops straight into the big index funds, into your basket. You didn't pick them, they just show up. So is the boring fund still boring? Nope. Pull up your fund, find the top 10 holdings. Every fund lists them. If those 10 add up to a third or more of the whole thing, congratulations. You're an AI investor. Nobody asked you. Here we are. I'm not telling you to sell. Panic selling has wrecked way more retirements than any crash ever has. The people who got burned in 2000 weren't stupid. They just had no clue what they were holding until it was all over the news. If having someone actually dig through this stuff is useful, subscribe. So no, the fun's not boring right now, but you can still be the boring one. See you next time.